name is Valentina Schippers. I'm coordinator of Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement and chair of Eurocities Working Group on Public Procurement. And
hello everyone, my name is Frédéric Amiand. I work within the International Affairs Department at the city and metropole of Nantes in the western part of France, and we are a member of the Urban Agenda on Public Procurement.
And today we are presenting a position paper developed by partners of Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement. Urban Agenda Partnership is an initiative for European Union, and our position paper consists of 10 key recommendations that we would like to stress that public procurement as a strategic tool can address a lot of challenges public authorities in Europe are dealing with, such as, for example, social challenges by creating new jobs, for example, or recover economy, or, for example, environmental challenges like boosting of circular economy or energy transition. And today we are going to explain and mention a few of those key recommendations. Yes, thank you. For instance, key recommendation about that EU policies should encourage and support creation of pretender ecosystems. Why? Because if you have insights, if you work in ecosystem and have insights from different perspectives and from different stakeholders, from universities, from public authorities, from market parties, social partners in the, and you can also get more insights, and that can boost innovation. Or key recommendation, offer resources to acknowledge the specific needs of stakeholders of different sizes. What do we mean with that? For example, small, medium, and huge cities, or local authorities, region, or national public bodies, but also universities of these different sizes, smaller and bigger ones, smaller, medium size, but also large companies. And so why it is important? Because they have also different needs. Let's take an example of small enterprises or small innovative startups. They probably would need more support and more capacity building while submitting tenders, compared to the large companies who already have the whole departments there, they have as a full-time job to write these tenders, while small companies do not have capacity and knowledge how to do that. So now I would like to pass word to Frédéric.
Yep, thank you, Valentina. So innovation is also about social procurement. I don't think I need to convince anyone about that in the room. As a city, we've been doing that for 20 years, so not that long ago compared to some other countries. But we were still convinced that this is one of the important ways to procure. And one good example of how we can face some kind of limits when it comes to EU regulation is corporate social responsibility. And I want to take a very concrete example that we've been facing, trying to push back some limits and got burnt, legally speaking. So in 2018, the French highest administrative court, the Conseil d'État, challenged the legality of one of a selection criterion when it comes to the performance in terms of social responsibility about a procurement for a printing job. So something quite mundane, printing job, in which we decided to have this kind of a social responsibility performance criterion, which weighed for 15% of the total score. Our call for tenders indicated back then that this criterion will be assessed on the basis of general factors such as anti-discrimination policy, gender equality commitment. Well, you get the global pictures, not only linked directly to the procurement. So we knew it was some kind of a risky move based on the EU regulation, But we tried. And we got challenged by the court. I just put a quote from the court itself on the slide, but I realize it's a bit small for you in the back of the room. So basically, the idea for the court was there was no sufficient link between this selection criterion and the subject of the contract or its performance conditions. I think as professionals, we understand that it was risky, but this is how we got convicted. So if we just look at the global pictures now, we have major twin transition at EU level that we are supposed to achieved, which makes sense. And we are not disputing that as procurers and cities, but it's also quite important that we will be able to support the most virtuous, the most engaged company when it comes to corporate social responsibility. So that's why basically with this recommendation, we also have some kind of a question, which will be like, why not the EU regulation could evolve to let us reward in a very balanced way without harming the single market, obviously. Reward, but the most virtuous companies when it comes to CSR are the global criterion, not just linked to the subject of the contract itself. One concrete example that is coming more and more from companies that we have by our city is why not reward, for instance, the companies who are perfectly aligned with the Paris Agreement? That's something very global, not necessarily linked to the object of the contract, but we are starting to hear more and more because some companies are doing this specifically. So that's one example that I wanted to take. I won't talk about the second one we can pass the next slide because if we have questions, we can go further. But the point is, when it comes to policy, we cannot conclude this presentation without mentioning the post-EU election contest. So we have very clear demands as practitioners, if I may say. A new parliament is probably a new opportunity to finally have back an intergroup on public procurement, public services, or service of general interest, in which we could discuss with the members how to change a bit the 2014 public procurement directives. The same goes for the Commission, and we hope that maybe a new commissioner will have in its portfolio the public procurement clearly stated. We are hearing a lot of goodwill when it comes to come back on this 2014 public procurement at the moment, and we hope this is a new door that we could open with the Commission as well. And some very practical things. The whole position paper is in all of your tote bag as well. You can scan it with the QR code. And we just wanted to share with the last slide. Yeah, thank you. Can you just move to the next slide, please? Thanks a lot. It's like a show. So we just put one address, one email address. So the one on the e-learning modules, it's one example of what we've been doing with the urban agenda. It's a good tool which has been used by 2,000 people, if I remember correctly, so far. So it's just a way to upskill some people who are comfortable in English, and we are considering a tool to have it accessible in several languages. So it's just to close my remarks. Thank you.